Okay, so we're here in March in Cambridgeshire at the police station. We have been here before. A couple of times now. But yeah, it's still closed. This post box is no longer in use. All mail should be sent to the force headquarters in Huntingdon. There's no longer a public inquiry office. So the nearest stations it's saying is Parkside in Cambridge or Thorpe Wood in Peterborough. Still have a yellow phone and a map of the area. So I know it's still operational, it still operates out of here. It's just not open to the public. It's a very old, run-down sort of looking place. Look at the state of the gates. Yeah, you can see they've got a few vehicles in there. There are a couple of marked vehicles down there. We've got one parked just there. They normally have more parked along there, so there must be a couple out and about on the roads. Yeah, it's a Wednesday afternoon. I think it's afternoon, just about. Yeah, 12:30. That's about it. Pardon?
You alright?
Yeah, I'm good, cheers mate. Just looking at your cars and that.
Have a look at the cars?
Yeah.
Just interested?
Yeah. Interested. Yeah.
Okay. Anything I can help you with at all?
No, I'm good.
Just that?
Yeah.
So I'm going to be coming out in a police vehicle just now.
The marked one?
No, an unmarked one, sorry.
Oh, right, okay.
It's a bit of a boring one.
That's all right.
So please don't enter the backyard.
Yeah, sure.
No issues with you filming, obviously.
Cool.
No issues with that at all. But yeah, just make way of the gates, yeah?
Yeah.
Cheers, buddy.
No. Decent response there from that constable coming out in an unmarked police vehicle. But yeah, we'll be able to get the number plate at least of an unmarked police vehicle. But yeah, good response. You know, to be fair, Cambridgeshire Constabulary are pretty good on auditing and that these days, and with interactions that I have had with Cambridgeshire Constabulary, they're generally pretty decent. Yeah, so what they got? They got a Peugeot 308, and the number plate is. Wait for the gates to open. Yeah, so the number plate they got is Oscar Yankee 22 Tango Papa Oscar. Yeah, so apparently that is an unmarked police vehicle.
This right here is the legal heart of the video. UK police must announce when body-worn cameras are activated unless it's unsafe or impractical. That beep without warning moment, that's what triggers complaints across the country. Viewers, what do you think? Honest mistake or policy breach?
So he's doing the right thing and waiting around for the gates to close, as he did ask me politely not to go in there. So no issues with filming. Just asked me not to go into the gates, which is a fair request. Yeah, absolutely doing the right thing by waiting. Quite a nice little Peugeot actually. Little rims on that. I've not seen that before. I quite like that. Michelin tyres, e-primacy. It's quite a smart car. Indicating well, good. Well done to him. Here's another one. So we're gonna... no indicator though. Oh. Pardon?
What are you doing, mate? You alright?
Yeah, not bad. Yourself?
Good, yeah, not too bad, thank you. You having a good day?
Yeah, not too bad. Chilling.
Nice one.
What was that beeping?
Huh?
What was that beeping?
My camera.
You turned it on, did you?
Yeah.
Did the reason you didn't tell me? Constable! Yeah, sorry buddy, just one thing. You were very reasonable earlier, I really appreciate that. That chap there, can you just get me his collar number please? Because I need to make a complaint, but he drove off without answering my question. I just need his collar number.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can't hear that, sorry? 1401. Again, well, can I just ask you why you didn't notify me that you were turning your camera on?
You heard it, didn't you?
Pardon? I heard a beep, I didn't know what it was, that's what I had to ask you, didn't I? Yeah, but you should have told me when you turned it on, shouldn't you, Constable? It's in your policies. You're a data handler, you need to let people know when you're recording them. That's covert surveillance. Yeah. Might be laughing now, you won't be when you get told off.
You alright?
Yeah, not bad, you?
You waiting for someone?
Nah, no, I'm good.
You just thought that out here.
Yeah, just filming, just getting vehicles and that.
Fair enough, mate. We have to watch the gates close, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good, that's good. That's what it does, that's absolutely what you should be doing, 100%.
Yeah.
Agree with it. You'd be surprised how many places I go to where they don't, they just come out, see me stood here. Like I said, you don't know who I am, I could be up to no good, and I could walk in.
Yeah,
There's so many people just come out and drive off and,
No, I know, mate.
you know, so no, good on you, good for doing
Oh,
it.
thank you.
Are you a constable, are you? Are you uniformed usually? Are you off duty? Yeah.
I'm off duty.
Yeah, but are you normally uniformed?
Yeah, yeah, normally, yeah.
When you turn your body cameras on, do you tell people when you do it?
Usually it lets them know a little beep.
Yeah, but a beep could mean anything. I don't know. You don't know what a beep means.
It on the screen. Most people kind of, to be honest, when I turn my body camera on, it's in dire situation. We don't get a chance to explain it to them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just one of your constables, 1401, just came in, turned it on, and didn't tell me. Now I know it's part of your policy from the College of Policing, Cambridgeshire Police, and obviously Reaper. You know, you don't want to be doing covert surveillance without authority.
No.
So obviously, but when you turn it on, your policies are to verbally announce where practicable.
Where practical.
If you're going into a situation like I said where it's dire, you're going in hands-on, it's a very violent situation. situation, obviously that's justified, you don't do it.
So most of the time it kind of counts as a notification. You don't necessarily have to do it verbally.
That's not what your policy
it's
says.
Quite loose.
That's not what your policy says. Your policy clearly state verbal announcement.
That's the thing. I don't.
Yeah. Oh, so that's fair enough.
Turn it on.
Yeah, yeah.
It's dire.
Yeah, yeah.
And usually, people can know.
Yeah. But again,
it displays on the screen as well.
Yeah, but you can't go by the assumption that everybody knows how your cameras work, because your body cameras are quite expensive ones. They're quite sophisticated. Yeah. And honestly, I've looked up the ones that the police and that use, and they're over 150, 200 quid, some of them.
Yeah.
And I said they're quite sophisticated, you know. And even when they're just running on standby and not recording, sometimes the screen is still on them. So
fair.
You know, so again, I see what you're saying. So the best way to avoid any ambiguity is it's simple, isn't it? Just to let you know, you're being audio and visually recorded for your protection and my protection. That's the line that they say you should use.
Do you know where the footage goes as well?
Pardon?
Are you aware of where the footage goes?
Yeah, it gets held up for 28 days, and then unless there's an incident, and then it gets recorded for longer, and then you do a subject access request.
And it's only on our system.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But it's that thing of, you know, like if you're filming the public as part of the police, you're part of an organisation, you're covered by GDPR and all of that.
It's the same thing.
You know.
It's kind of a difficult one to explain, but it's sort of a similar thing to if someone starts filming me and I've not been made aware of it.
Yeah.
It's one of those, like now I can see your phone's there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use common sense and assume.
Yeah.
And it's every situation is individual. If someone asks me if I'm filming, I'm going to go, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, and as you should. You know, you shouldn't lie about it, but you should have already made them aware.
Reasonable with people. If you don't want to be filmed, if there's a lawful reason I can say, okay, fair enough, I'll turn my camera slightly away.
Yeah.
Obviously, if there being a problem, I need to capture their
of course.
Camera, fair enough.
Yeah, 100%.
That's different. But if someone's being reasonable with me and they're like, look, I'd rather not be filmed, blah, blah, blah. Okay, absolutely fine.
Yeah.
We can try, we keep this as a conversation.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, people forget they're in.
Textbook policing here. Polite request, clear boundary, and the officer waits for the gate to fully close. It's a small detail, but it speaks volumes. Many forces get criticized for ignoring secure site protocol, so seeing it done correctly is a rare W. Would you trust officers more if interactions were always this calm?
People forget you're in a uniform, but you still conversation with people.
Yeah, I mean, the issue comes with it is like, so say you haven't notified somebody, and obviously it is recording. They don't know that what they're saying, what they're doing is being recorded, you know, because there's one thing you'll hear say against somebody else is in a situation, but then obviously body cam footage and cameras, they don't lie, they're impartial witnesses really, aren't they? Yeah, in
body
a sense.
Cameras, yes.
Yeah, you know. So in that sense, you're collecting evidence without their knowledge. You're recording them and collecting their data, their personal private data under GDPR. And as a data handler, you need to notify them. Like I said, that's why it says where practicable, because obviously you do go into situations where it's not practical. But if you're approaching for a conversation and you're not going in hands-on, there's no reason you shouldn't approach with good afternoon, good morning, whatever it is. Just to let you know you're being recorded for your protection and mine. And that's all it needs to be.
I say usually mine generally goes on if it's a situation where it needs to go on. I don't turn it on for every single encounter. Most of the time you can have a conversation with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would prefer that.
100%. I don't know, it's surprising how often it happens and how many complaints have to put in about it. You know, like PC 1401, he's going to have to get a complaint about it now because...
Do you mind if I ask what you detained you for?
Oh, he didn't detain me. No.
Did he tell you you were detained? Did you say?
No, he came in and he just stopped and asked. He said, "Oh, hey, how are you?" And I was like, "Yeah, not bad, thanks." Okay. And I heard a beep and I said, "Oh, what was that beeping?" And he said, "Oh, it was my camera. I just turned it on." And I'm like, "Well, you should have told me that when you turned it on. You shouldn't have to wait for somebody to ask them to be
that's
asked."
fair play. Usually if I'm going into, so if there's reports of violence or there's a domestic situation or stuff like that, I'll go in with my camera already on, separate people, and then we have a chat. And that's different.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to
dealing with a member of the public, most of the time, you don't need to turn it on when you're having a conversation.
No, you don't. No. But so many people do, especially when I'm doing this. You know,
I can see why people do.
And I've got no problem in doing it. Same reason I record, you know, because you never know how things are going to go.
Well,
you know, like you seem like a reasonable chap. I've had a conversation with another guy who was reasonable. You know, no issues. You know, but not every constable is the same, and I do run into some problems sometimes. And this just carries, you know,
I
evidence.
Completely understand that.
So I've no problem with them recording me at all. If I did, I'd have my snood up over my face, and if I wanted to provide my privacy in public, I would cover my face, but I'm not bothered. What I'm bothered about is not being told about it when I'm being filmed by an organisation, especially a government organisation as well. You know,
but you're aware of the complaints process?
Yeah. So it's, I know they go straight to IOPC, and then they kick it back down to PSD. But
I was going to say, it's strange it goes to IOPC now. Are you making some sort of special complaint there, or
no?
They go PSD first.
Yeah, I go straight to IOPC on the off chance that they do pick it up, because they're independent. Whereas PSD is police investigating police, which I think is, in my opinion, a very backwards way of doing it. And this is the issue that the Met have been having, isn't it? With all the complaints that they're now looking at in the backlog and thinking that hasn't been handled correctly. And it's like, well, what do you expect when the police investigate themselves? You know, that's like if I commit a crime and then say, oh, don't worry, I'll get my mate to investigate that. You know what I mean?
It's strange because it's a separate department as well, though. They're not... I always say that people who hate cops who don't do the job properly the most, or the people who've got the most to... The people who hate when cops don't do the job properly are other cops.
Yeah.
That is the most, because at the end of the day,
it gives you all a bad name.
It makes us look bad. It provides future bad interactions for us. The amount of bad interactions I've had with a member of the public who's had a bad interaction with the police and then rubs that off on me.
Yeah. I'll give everybody their dues. You know, and until they give me a reason to, I'll give everybody the respect that I would expect from them. So
exactly. So the system that we've got at the minute, it's like I say, PSD. I think they investigate. I don't want to say low-level stuff, but they investigate the stuff that can be dealt with at a certain level. Obviously, if it needs to go, it doesn't get escalated through IOPC. I think it's something like, if you get 5 complaints in a short space of time,
it's automatically to IOPC,
a certain amount of complaints in a short amount of time, it's automatically escalated.
Right, okay.
Regardless of whether the complaints were actually held up or not. So it's one of those.
That makes sense. I didn't know that. That's good to know. So I just, if I want IOPC to deal with it, just make 5 complaints. But no, I'm just messing.
Right.
But
it's one of those. You've got to make a complaint, and that's why it gets investigated.
Yeah, it's like where was I? It was quite a while ago now. I was up in Lincolnshire, Stamford. I was up there and I had an inspector come out. I was just doing what I'm doing now, just chilling, getting shots of vehicles coming and going, no issues. He just comes out, starts threatening me with arrest for breach of the peace, public nuisance, and this, that, and the other. Obviously, a threat of arrest without a lawful basis. I'll move that away for a second.
Absolutely.
So that's an assault. It's a threat of violence. And it's coercing somebody. It's coercing somebody to not do something that they're in their lawful rights to do. But when I put in a complaint, the chief inspector dealing with it was like, no, her behaviour was completely reasonable, and I'm like, really? A threat of arrest when there's no lawful basis for that arrest?
It depends. On the base. It depends on what the obviously I wasn't there. So
no, obviously,
but there's filming, which you're in your right to do. And then there's what could be perceived as hostile reconnaissance, things like that. But then, are you fully aware of what hostile reconnaissance is?
Yes. So there's a memo from the NPCC regarding this, isn't there? I don't know. Are you aware of the memo?
I've not seen the memo. I just know.
Oh, you should have it. It circulated around all stations over a year ago now, and it's been updated regularly.
It might have been an old email that came out.
So the NPCC are of the stance that obviously it's in the police's interest to cooperate with photographers, videographers, because if anything does go wrong in the area, and I'm happy to be videoing, it's good that I've got the evidence for you if you weren't here.
Absolutely.
And they say that hostile reconnaissance, by its very nature, is covert. So somebody sat here doing this, especially with my face uncovered, willing to have a conversation with you. You know what I mean? There's very limited circumstances in this where hostile reconnaissance would be a genuine concern. And it happens a lot. It happens a lot. People get detained and searched on the Terrorism Act, and then the police get sued, and we win every time. Because it's very, very seldom that the justification is there in a situation where I'm filming overtly in public.
My judgment would be, generally, if you're filming, I don't have a problem with it. My judgment would be if someone's taking a special interest in security measures and things like that, that's when I might think...
Yeah, if you saw me walking around with my face covered up and I saw you coming in and was like, oh, run away, and because I was looking at your cameras and then I saw you coming and I thought, oh, let's make a break for it. Yeah, that's maybe that's more solid grounds. But if you see me here filming, taking shots of the building in general, cars, whatever, I'm overt. I'm happy to have a conversation with you when you come up.
That's the thing.
You know what I mean? In what situation is that going to be? Yeah, I was up in Scotland recently, and I was up by one of the locks that crosses to Northern Ireland, and I saw border force boats going back and forth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if somebody really wanted to do hostile reconnaissance, they would just sit here all day and monitor. You know, I could find a space up in one of these windows and monitor you covertly without putting myself in a situation where I'm going to get approached.
If that was,
You know, if I really had nefarious intent, I would find a more covert way to do it where you would never even know I was there.
That's fair enough.
You know, and it's just, there's so many things about it that I find ridiculous.
Yeah, it becomes such a grey area, and you kind of just, generally the way to solve it is just have a conversation.
100%.
If someone, I've had it before where there have been auditors in front of the police station who I've spoken to, who've either not said a word to me, or who they've been a little bit sort of tetchy with me, a little bit not happy to see me, not happy to talk to me, and I thought, okay, that's a bit.
It depends on your approach a lot of the time, but you seem like you would approach a reasonable way. You seem like a decent guy.
I'm the least threatening person you can imagine, aren't I?
But no, you know, and it depends how you approach, and not everybody's built the same. You know, like I said, I'll give everybody the respect they're due until they give me reason not to. You know, if you came out and started giving me directives, you need to leave the area, then you'd be getting a different side of me, because I'd be like, you have no right to tell me that.
But that's fair enough.
You know. But yeah, but again, even if somebody doesn't talk to you, if you answer, you know, we have the right to remain silent. You know,
absolutely.
You know, we don't have to, and you can't use somebody's silence as an inference of them doing anything wrong.
No, absolutely not. But it just films a judgment up in your head.
Right away, notice the contrast. A station technically closed to the public, but still fully operational behind the scenes. This sets up a key tension: transparency versus practicality. Quick question for viewers. Do you think police stations should keep public counters open, or is the modern shift to central HQs justified?
Why are you? Do you want to ask me questions? Do you want to talk? Do you want to find out more?
Yeah.
Do? Brilliant. Let's talk. If not, okay, so if I don't know what your intentions are, it makes it a little bit more, it doesn't necessarily form power.
No.
But it makes it a little bit more...
You might have more suspicion, you might have reason to call in and be like, keep an eye on these people.
As any human being naturally would.
Absolutely, and yeah, keep an eye, make sure they don't get up to no good, and absolutely fine. But
we've had it outside Thorpewood before as well.
Yeah. Oh, I've been up
filming, people kind of get a little bit too close into the grounds, people try and go into the grounds a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, just...
I've been up Thorpewood, I've been all over the country. Yeah, I've been up Thorpewood before, so Peterborough in it. But yeah, I mean, Cambridgeshire Constabulary, for the most part, are pretty decent. You know.
I was going to say, I don't think we have a lot of particularly scandalous incidents.
No. I think it was a couple of years ago now, the report for that year, there was a lot of allegations, I don't know how many were upheld, about sexual assault and things like that. But that was 2021, that year. There was quite a lot of, like 300 and something allegations across the force. Again, I don't know how many were upheld.
That's the thing, is I tend to, when it comes to people being investigated and allegations being made, I just do my job.
You got to wait for the verdict to be made, definitely. You know.
And I try not to get involved. I try not to listen too much, because I think, okay, that's everyone else's business, not mine. I'll do my job. I'll speak to people.
That sounds good. Well, I appreciate your time today. I know you're off duty anyway, but
that's all right.
Alrighty, man. Good to speak to you. Take care. A bit warm, it was a bit colder earlier. But
it was a bit, wasn't it?
Oh well.
No worries.
Cheers, mate. So yeah, there we go. It was a very honest and genuine conversation with a very polite constable. You know, he had his ideas about body cameras and that, and hopefully he'll take on board what I've said regarding that. You know, hopefully I don't have to come across him in uniform and he doesn't notify me when his camera gets turned on, because, you know, that would be a different issue. You know, that was also all talking hypotheticals. But yeah, so hopefully he's taken on board what I've said. You know, unless you're going into a situation that's inherently aggressive, then, you know, your first thing should be to approach and be, hi, just to let you know you're being recorded. And it's as simple as that, isn't it? So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, interesting to know that if they get a certain amount of complaints in a certain amount of time, it automatically gets escalated. The thing is, if you ever see anything online where you want to complain about a constable, you can't they won't uphold a complaint or even consider a complaint if it's something that you've seen online. So the best thing to do there is to tell them that you were stood nearby and witnessed it in person, because a witness to an incident can be a complainant. So yeah, the actual victim can be the complainant, or a witness to the incident can be a complainant. So if you ever do see anything dire that really needs to be escalated further than PSD, or see the person making the video will put in a complaint, you can put in a complaint as well and say you were there in person and you witnessed it. And then they will have to take your complaint seriously. There we go. I think I'm going to wrap that one up there. Wasn't expecting such a long chat with that constable, actually. I thought it was just be a quick question and conversation about body cameras, and then we somehow got onto the topic of hostile reconnaissance and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that was an interesting one. But yeah, anyway guys, as always, I'm gonna wrap it up there, but until the next time, stay safe, remember your rights, and